Hi guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so we're gonna get started in a few minutes. We're gonna be going over designs. So just sit tight. I'm gonna give people a few more minutes to hop on. Good morning, guys. I'm gonna give it till 11:05, and then we'll get started. We're gonna be going over some designs today. Very similar to what Jackie did in Tuesday's class, but this will, I think, will help you with the designs contest that's going on. As we are going through all of this, feel free to use the chat to ask any questions. As well, if it's a really urgent question, just you can unmute yourself to ask your questions. And Jackie's also on here, so she'll be monitoring the chat and answering any questions as I go along if I miss something. So like I said, I'll give it till 11:05 and then we'll get started. In the meantime, while we wait for more people, if everybody wants to log into Command, I recommend using Chrome. I recommend using incognito mode inside of Chrome. The web page is agent.kw.com, and then it's your MyKW login information. And just prefacing that I do have two dogs, so I'm so sorry if they start barking at something going on outside. They tend to do that sometimes, but I'll try to keep them as quiet as possible. Okay, so let's get started. Hopefully everyone has gotten a chance to log into Command, and you should be seeing your welcome dashboard, which should look something very similar to mine. To get to designs, we're just going to hop right on into it. To get to designs, you're going to go to the left-hand side over here. If you want to open up the titles for the little icons here, you just click the red and white KW up here, and it'll give you the little titles, and we're just going to click on designs. And that will bring you to your template library. If you haven't created anything in designs, you might have a pretty blank page. If you have created other designs, then you'll have something that looks pretty similar to my page here. To create a new design, regardless of what type of design it is, we are going to click on this big blue plus on the bottom right, and you'll get this pop-up asking you what type of design you're trying to create. Are you trying to create an email design, a social media design, print, or video, or you can import your own design that you can then manipulate. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of print options, and then we're gonna go into social media, which I think is what everybody's looking forward to, seeing as that's what the design contest is all about this week. But I just wanna give you guys an overview of what print options you have as well. So if you could just click on print, so it's highlighted in blue, and then once you've done that, just click next. And then it should open up the editor for you. It's being a little slow. Okay, and from the editor here, you can see that you have quite a few options of what to work with. On the left-hand side, you'll see the different templates, and you have different categories for templates. You have the KW app templates, which you can announce that you have your own personal app through postcards, flyers, large postcards, and standard postcards. These are the different options up at the top here. And in each one, you have different versions of whatever message you're trying to convey, but they're all about your app. This might be a good option. The flyers might be a good option when you're doing open houses, once we get back to regular in-house open houses. The postcards, they may be a good option if you want to send it out to past clients to make or current clients, if you just want to make them aware that you have an app. And then going down to some of the categories under listings, you have listing presentation options. You have two options for a listing presentation. The content is it's the same between the two options that you have. It's just the looks that's a little different. You have options for sale properties with door hangers that you can create. So if you're doing any sort of door knocking, you can create these door hangers, and this would be something that you can leave behind. You can create flyers that are letter sized for your properties. Again, this is, if you don't want to create a brochure, you can create a flyer and leave this in the house, or again, something to hand out, again, maybe during an open house. Then you can create standard postcards. And they're the horizontal ones. You can create trifold letters, which are little trifold brochures. Bifolds, these are the 11 by 17 inch size. It would go on that size paper, and this would fold down. And then they have bifolds that fold horizontally. So again, it depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to, what look you're going for. And all of these, just like we did on Tuesday's class, all of these are fully customizable in terms of colors, fonts, obviously you throw your own pictures in there, things like that. Then obviously you can do, depending again what type of message you're trying to convey, you can do just listed. Same thing, door hangers, postcards, flyers, notify people about price updates. You can create neighborhood snaps, like snapshots. If you want to do a postcard for a certain neighborhood, if you're trying to farm a certain neighborhood, this is a good option to give them an idea of what's going on. Again, then they have open house announcements, just sold, local expert. And then same thing for buyers, you have different options for them where you can send them neighborhood snaps based on what neighborhoods they're interested in. Keller Mortgage, you can talk about, again, if you want to bring this to your open house, you can create a flyer for Keller Mortgage options. And the buyer presentation. So just like the listing presentation, we have two options for the buyer presentation that you can go through and customize. So I'm just checking the chat. Okay, and then lead generation, you can create home value, door hangers, postcards, flyers. So yeah, so play around with these. These are definitely, you know, great options for everybody, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to announce that you love Keller Williams or you've moved to a new company, if you're brand new, you can go ahead and send those out. And one thing that I do want to remind people is any of these that you create inside of the print designs, they can be used inside of your social media. So if you like a design that you created, you can certainly then use it as you can then certainly use it as a social media design if you want to share it through here, or you can download it and then share it directly from Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever you try to use. Business basics, you can create business cards right from here. So if you don't like the designs you've seen in other places, you can create your business cards right in here. They both have portrait style as well as some landscape styles. So if you like these better than what you've seen in other places, you can also, you know, again, these are super customizable. So you can change colors, you can change layouts, everything like that. I know with certain printers, you can only use their layout and their templates, and they're very limited with what type of customization you can do besides, you know, changing your name and your picture and things like that. With these, you can obviously do whatever you want. And they also have letterhead. So if for whatever reason you need letterhead, if you send out letters or anything to your clients or to your farm, you can create your own personal letterhead. So I think these are really great tools that you can use for your business. But what we're gonna do, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the print. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that they have all these options. I'm not gonna spend, like I said, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. We're gonna switch into the social media because I know that that's what the contest is about, and I know that that's what everybody wants to learn a little bit more. So if everyone could just click the little X on the top right here, and that will bring you back to your design templates library. And then again, we're just gonna click the big blue plus, and we're gonna go to social. So it's highlighted in blue, and click next. And that will bring you to your social templates library, where again, just like in the print library, you have a ton of options for what you can do. They have a bunch of different options for your KW app. These are all designed for Instagram in terms of size. As everybody knows, Instagram prefers that the picture is a square, as opposed to Facebook, which prefers something that's a little more of a rectangle. These can be used interchangeably wherever. You just have to be aware that if you're using a Facebook template for an Instagram post, just make sure that the sides don't get cut off. Okay, so again, on the left-hand side, you can see the different categories that they have available for you. So they have listings. So if you have a just listed property, you have, 43 different options for templates. And across the top, you can see the different channels. So Facebook, Instagram stories. And as you can see, as I'm clicking through, these things are changing size just because Instagram stories likes it horizontal, as opposed to just an Instagram post, which is more square. Then we have LinkedIn and Twitter. But just remember, all of these can be used across the board with whatever social media channel you're using. Just make sure that when you actually upload them, that you are aware that things may or may not get cut off. So just keep that in mind as you're doing this. So we have just listed, we have neighborhood snaps, which Jackie went over on Tuesday, which I think is great. If anybody has questions on that, we can go over that again as well today. Under contract, just sold, local expert, and same thing with buyers. They have neighborhood snaps and Keller Mortgage. You can create Keller Mortgage posts, to notify your buyers that you have this option. Lead generation, so talking about your website, holidays, really whatever you can think of to create, you can create inside of this design studio. What I'm going to work on today is open house for your listings, because I know a lot of people are still doing virtual open houses, so I think it's still a great idea to invite people and make it interesting. So I'm going to click on under listings, under the open house. I'm going to stick with Facebook because I know that that's what most people tend to use. If you want to use an Instagram template, you're more than welcome to. The editing process is it's the same. You'll just be looking at a different template than the rest of us, but that's fine. So I'm going to click on Facebook, and I'm going to choose this first one here, see it to believe it, and I'm going to click use. And once the editor loads, you will see that you have your post here, and on the left-hand side, you have your editing tools. So what we want to do is obviously change these pictures and change the logo, and maybe put some more verbiage on here that there's an open house and when the open house is happening. So if someone could tell me a listing that they have currently, or something that maybe they're doing an open house this weekend on something, just so we have a property to work on. If anyone could tell me in the chat. Okay, so then I'm going to use one of Jackie's listings. What you can do is, we have this option for KWLS on the left-hand side here. From here, you can search any active listing, or Fiona, here we go. We'll use Fiona's listing, 17 Lobdell Lane in Easton. Thank you, Fiona. So on this KWLS tab here, you can search for any KW listing that's out there. You can really search anywhere in the country. For right now, we're going to work with Fiona's just because she has it. Okay, so 17 Lobdell Lane, Easton. And there we go. So sometimes it won't come up at the top. You may have to scroll down a little bit, but I see it down here. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to click select. And you'll see that all the pictures from the property are loading right in here for me to use, which makes it very convenient. I don't have to download it from somewhere and then have it saved on my computer. It's right there all in one spot. So I want to make sure that I, represent the best parts of this home on this post. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to switch out some of these photos. To switch out a photo, very simple. You click on the photo you'd like to replace. So it's highlighted with these dash marks right here. And then you hover, don't click, but hover over the picture that you want to use. And then you'll see these three icons come up. One of them says add image. You don't want to click that. One says replace image, and the other one is use as a background. What we're going to do is we're going to hover and click on replace image, just little, the arrows going in a circle. And that will replace the image for us. What it does, it just literally takes this image that's already there and then puts this with the same size and same location. So if what you did was if you clicked on this and then clicked on this, it would just place the image in the center of the postcard for you, and then you'd have to resize it, and that's what you don't want. So I'm just going to delete this. And I'm going to do the same thing with the next 3 images. So I like this image of the living room. I think it looks really nice with the beams. So I'm going to, again, click the image that I want to replace, hover over the one I would like to use, and click Replace Image. And then it loads there. And then do the same thing for the bottom 2 pictures. Whichever photos, look best to you, or whatever you want to use to highlight, the different parts of the home that you think are best. Those are the images you should probably use. So I'm going to use one of the kitchen because I think that looks nice. It's a little small, but I'm assuming it's a nice kitchen. Yeah, it's nice and rustic. And then maybe one of a bedroom that looks nice. This blue one looks good. So then I'm going to click on the image, go over to the left-hand side, choose the image that you want to use, and hover and replace. Okay, so now that I've replaced the images, we're in a good place. Now we have to change all the verbiage, or maybe put an address in here, maybe put your own picture in here if you want to make it very customized. But first that I'm thinking of that I'm going to do is I'm going to change this logo, because obviously we don't want to say DBA name. This is really just a placeholder. So again, I'm going to click. So on the left-hand side, right above where it says KWLS, you have logos. And I have in my library, which I've already uploaded, the Keller Williams Prestige Properties logo with the white background. I may or may not want to use that in this design, depending on what I'm trying to do. I don't know if it's going to look right with the white background. I may want something with a clear background. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, instead of sticking with my library where I uploaded this logo, I'm going to go to Company. And this is where you get the logos that Keller Williams has provided for us. They have all sorts of different options for us, but I'm going to click on KW. These are the generic KW logos. So they have ones that say Keller Williams, ones that just say KW, ones that say KW Keller Williams, in all sorts of different colors. Some with a white background, some with a clear background. Really, whatever fits best with your design, that's what you want to use. So again, I'm going to click on this logo, so it's highlighted with the dashed lines, as you can see here. And I'm going to replace it with just a simple Keller Williams. Again, you can replace it with whichever one looks best to you. I like the simple Keller Williams here. And again, I'm going to click on Replace Logo. And now I may need to move it up or down, or maybe make it bigger or smaller. I just kind of want it off to the side so it's a little inconspicuous. Okay, Fiona, no problem. I'll show you one more time how to find the listing. Okay, so if you're having trouble finding the listing, again, you're going to go to KWLS on the left-hand side here, and then you will get to what looks like a little search bar right here. You just type in the address, 17 Lobdell Lane, Easton. Press enter. And then you may have to scroll down a little bit to find the right listing. So 17 Lobdell Lane is here. I'm going to click select, and it'll populate for me. Does that help, Fiona? The replacement photo symbol doesn't always show up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So the replacement photo symbol doesn't show up. So that means that you probably didn't highlight the photo that you want to replace. So you have to, again, click on the photo that you want to replace so it's highlighted. And then while it's still highlighted, you go and hover over the picture that you'd like to use instead. And then you'll see that replace image button, which then you can click and it'll replace it. Okay, how do I save the logo to my library? So first you have to save it to your computer. So again, I'm going to go back to logos. And I'm going to go back to my library. So if you have the logo that you want to use saved to your computer already, then you go to Add to Library at the very bottom there. And then you can click on one of these little plus signs, and then it'll give you the option to find it wherever it is on your computer. Okay. Come on, there we go. I think the problem comes in when you want to put a square into a circle placeholder. Do you mean, oh, for the logos? So that for logos, that shouldn't be a problem as long as you're going from logo to logo. So there has been an issue where if you're trying to put in the logo that you're trying to use has to be in the logo library as opposed to the image library. I know that's a little nitpicky, but the system won't take. So if you click on Keller Williams here, which is a logo, and then you go and hover over a picture that maybe you want to replace it with, then it doesn't show up. Okay. Where do you find the KW Prestige Properties logo? So I'm going to ask Adonis to send that around again. I know that it originally sits on our office public drive. I know he sent it out a couple of times. I'll ask him to do that again. I'll make a note for myself. Adonis logo. Because obviously nobody has access to the public drive right now, but I'll ask him to send it around again. I know he has a couple of different versions of the logos, some with, I guess, like under mine, you can see that it has a white background. I believe he has one that has just a clear background, maybe one that's just black and white. I'll just make sure that whatever he has, he can send around. How do you make sure the photos are in the library as a logo? So again, if you have it saved on your computer, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to Logos and Add to Library under Logos. Instead of images, you still have the add to library option here. You just want to go to where it says Logos and Add to Library here, so then you'll have it here. I can't seem to highlight the circle on the design to replace it. I'm not sure what circle you're talking about. Do you mean this circle here? Because there's nothing to replace here. This is just a design element. You can just get rid of it or make it smaller or drag it out and make it a little bigger. This wouldn't be, because it's not really a picture, so that wouldn't be replaceable. Okay. So the next thing that I'd want to do is I'd want to make sure that people know that this is an open house. So I want to put in some verbiage in here saying that there's an open house and when the open house is taking place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on text. Again, on the left-hand side, the text tab, and I get in my library because I've filled out my my marketing profile. All of my information is here, so I can just grab and use it, but for this, I don't need to. So I'm just gonna click on Add. How do you delete a text line you have put in your library? If you go to Add to Library, I believe. Oh, I guess it doesn't give you the option to delete. You can just add more. So you can just add more text lines to keep in your library for grab and go purposes. But if any of this information is not correct for you, just check your marketing profile. And then you may have to edit whatever information is not correct in there. Okay, and that's under your settings. So for this, I'm gonna go to Add. And what'll happen, it'll come up with what type of text do I want to add. Do I want to add a title? Do I want to add subtitle, body text, or a text block? I'm going to say I want to add a subtitle because I want it to be pretty large so people can see what I'm trying to say, basically announcing that we have an open house or a virtual open house. So I'm going to click on subtitle, and you'll see that it populates right here in the middle of the page. I obviously don't want it there, so I'm going to grab and drop it at the top. And the first thing that I want to do is obviously change the color of it because the black over the green will not work. You won't be able to see it very well. So I just want to, again, I'm going to double click inside of the text box. So you can see the little cursor come up over here. And then I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to go to the top here where it says fill color. Right now it's a 000, which is not what I want. I want to use white. So I'm going to click on this and it turns white. Okay, and then you want to change what it says. So I'm going to, again, double click on this so I have the cursor. I'm going to highlight this subtitle placeholder and I'm going to type in virtual open house, let's say Sunday 1 to 3 p.m. And obviously you see that it dropped down and I don't want it to drop down. I want it to go across the top. So I'm going to click out of it and I'm going to, again, click on it so you can see that it is now highlighted and you have these little white bars here that then you can drag the box and you can expand it so it fits all in one line. Okay. Virtual open house, Sunday 1 to 3 p.m. You can say, you can change that message saying, hey, join me for a Facebook Live virtual open house, and then give them the time and, or maybe it's an Instagram Live virtual open house, whatever you're trying to do, just make sure that the message is there. Virtual open house, Sunday 1 to 3 p.m. And then maybe I want to put a little note at the bottom here saying that if someone wants a private virtual showing, they can give me a call. So I am going to, again, go over to the left-hand side, click on text, and I'm going to click on body text because I want it to be just a little bit smaller. And again, it's going to drop right back in the middle because that's where it drops. And I'm going to drag it down to the bottom. And just like before, I'm going to double click so I see the cursor. I'm going to highlight what it says, body text. I'm going to change the color to white. And same thing again, I'm going to expand the box because I know what I'm going to say in here is going to be longer than just the little inch of space that it gives me. And I'm going to highlight the body text and I'm going to say for a private virtual showing, call me. And then you give your phone number. Why did it drop down? 3, 4, okay. And then you just make sure that you move the elements around and make sure that they look good and, look good to you and they're trying to, the message is clear that you're trying to convey. Maybe you want to put a little white box behind this just so it has, how do you get the KW colors? So the KW colors, so if you want to change this verbiage to a different color, that's the Keller Williams colors, you can click on the fill color again, and they have library colors. If you click on library colors, these are the default palette. These are the Keller Williams colors that they have built into the system for you. Okay. So they have library colors, they have template colors. Template colors are colors that I guess are used in this template. And then you can obviously choose whatever color you want. Maybe you have specific colors that you use for your brand and you have the color codes, you can use those color codes here. Just fill them in with, whatever the color code is and then click apply and then it'll come up for you to use. Okay, the fonts, you can also change the fonts. Obviously, if you don't like this default font that they have here, you can change it to whatever, you can change it to a script font, you can change it to, something a little more fun or maybe a little more modern. Again, depending on what kind of look you're going for, you can change that. You can also change the font size if you want it to be bigger or smaller. Okay. So let's say I'm happy with this design. This is exactly what I want. I want to post it up today because I'm doing it on Sunday, and I maybe want to post it up a couple more times between now and Sunday just to give everybody a heads up that this is happening. So you have two ways of posting it up. You can either post it up directly from Command. If you have your Facebook already set up inside of Command, you can post it directly. And that's very simple to do. If you go to the top right here, right next to the word done, you have the share button. If you click on that and give it a second to load, it'll give you the option to share it on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. Right now, the Pinterest connection is not there. But if you have your Facebook and your Twitter connected in the back end, you can share it to those platforms just by clicking Facebook, and then I'll walk you through a couple prompts if you want to add some verbiage to the post as well. Or the other option is right next to the share button is the download button. You can download this as a JPEG or a PNG and then take it to your Facebook screen and post it that way. Again, depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I know some people do create these designs and then they go to Facebook or they go to their campaigns manager to put it up as an ad on Facebook. On these designs, are there specific boxes when making a design you use for a picture and logo? On these designs, are there specific boxes? I'm not sure I understand the question. Jackie, if you can jump in on that, if you understand what's being asked.
Can I explain that, what I'm thinking of?
Sure.
Can you hear me? Thanks. So I'm still having trouble, like say it's the picture, you know, in the middle, like it's a picture of the property. Mm-hmm. And I want to put in a logo there. Not that I would, but I'm just saying, you know, once I click on that image and I try to go use a logo, that's when I don't have that replace sign.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just on the designs that are pre-made, you know what I mean? That there's a picture goes there. There's a logo, your logo goes there. You can't replace it, you know, without kind of finagling it.
Yeah, so yes, so pictures and logos, you can't, if something is deemed a picture or deemed a logo, it can't replace a picture or a logo.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So what you'd have to do is if you want to, let's say you want your logo in here instead of a picture, you'd have to just get rid of this picture and then throw your logo in there. So you go to logos, let's say you have a custom, branded logo. You find that in your library or you find it on your computer, and then you drag it in here and resize it to whatever you need it to be. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, I was trying to get my logo in the middle circle and it wasn't doing it. So I think it's an image picture. It's supposed to be for an image, not a logo.
Yeah, well, in the middle here, this isn't an image. This is just text. It's not logos or images. These are just text boxes.
Okay. So
for here, you'd have to get rid of these text boxes or move them over, whatever you're trying to do, whatever your design is. So if you wanted to, delete the boxes,
Gotcha.
And then you move your logo into here, and and resize.
Yeah, it doesn't just snap into a circle. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, no, it doesn't snap into a circle because the circle is just a design element. It's
okay.
It's not a picture or a logo. It's just a design element that they have you use.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody have any other questions on this? Feel free to unmute yourselves or ask inside of the chat. Change to a shape. What do you mean, Joanne? You want to change the circle to a different shape?
No. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, for instance, on our images, so our images are square. How can we change the shape of our image? I know there's shapes on here, frames and what have you.
Yep.
But then if you put it into a frame, how can you manipulate that?
Okay, no problem. So what we're gonna do is I'll show you guys how to add a frame. So if you go to where it says icons on the left-hand side, you can click on, I think, company, no, stock. And you can find the frame you want. So maybe I want, come on, where are they? There we go. So maybe I want to put something that's, you know, like an oval shape right here. So I click on that, I drop it into my design, I drag it over here, and then I want to put a picture of maybe the house in here. So again, I'm going to click on this, I'm going to go over to, why did my pictures go away? Okay, I'm going to go over to KWLS, find my picture, maybe I want to use whatever, this dining room one, I'm going to replace it. So now it's there. But perhaps I want to just focus on the very center of this picture for whatever reason. Maybe it's something that I, you know, I want to highlight that, you know, we have a dining room with this very large window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this picture, and then I can make this, oh, come on, make it bigger. Why is it not working? So I don't know why it's not working. What is explode sticker? Typically you can, if you double click, it will give you the option to resize the picture inside of the frame. I'm not sure why it's not working right now, but you can resize the picture inside of the frame and move it over if it's, you know, if it's shifted to the wrong space, if that makes sense. Let me see if I use a different photo. So the same thing was happening to Jackie, where the photos, for whatever reason, were not working. I don't know what's going on, where you have to like right click on the photos in order to get anything to happen on the on this side. So I don't know, there must still be some sort of glitch going on. But yeah, so typically if you put a shape in there, an image placeholder shape, you can move the picture around inside of that shape. So let's see if the star will work.
We could do the same with our pictures.
You mean if the ones that you've uploaded?
No, like our faces, like
yes.
your images. Okay.
Yes. So let's see if it'll work here. So back. I don't know why this is being so weird. My images aren't coming up. The same thing was happening for Jackie on Tuesday, so it must be some sort of glitch that they're going through.
Yeah, and I know I tried to reposition within too, and you couldn't reposition the picture within the shape.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna have to put in a support ticket and just notify them that this is happening, because yeah, so as you can see, my own images are not showing up on the left-hand side, and I don't know why. I don't know, Jackie, if you were able to figure it out after our class on Tuesday.
No, all I had to do was right click and they pop back up.
Yeah, I'm right clicking and nothing's happening, so I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay, but typically the option is there. For whatever reason right now it's not working, but you can, if you have a framed image, you can double click it and it should give you the option to move it, up, down, side to side, so you make sure that you're highlighting whatever is the most important part inside of that image. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Where's my chat?
Jen, I'm actually on my cell phone, so it's easier just for me to give you a quick call.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to increase my font size. Well, I was reducing it and then trying to increase it. And for some reason, it kind of, it gets stuck on a certain point, and I can't understand, I can't now make it bigger. Is there a special way we have to hover to make the font size better.
Bigger. So yeah, so if you highlight this, you should be able to just change the font to whatever size you want.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, so if you just highlight the whole text box, you
Right.
should be able to just change the font to, you know, whatever you need.
Okay,
Is that not
awesome.
working
Thank
for
you.
you?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't working, but I'm just going to play around a little bit. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
No
Cheers.
problem. Does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody want me to walk through how to post this onto Facebook? Right from here? Because I can totally do that.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
Jen, please.
Jen,
Okay, so again,
is there a way,
yep, go ahead.
to fill the box and then put, you know, and then put the print, like put a back behind and a black Keller Williams on a white box?
But yeah, so what you'd have to do is you'd have to add in the black box. So if you click on the side somewhere, so nothing is highlighted inside of your design, at the top you'll see drawing, shapes, frames, and text. So you want to go to shapes, and you can either, you know, click a bar or click a square, whatever, you know, whatever you're trying to do. So I'm going to click bar, and again, it populates right in the center of the design. I'm going to drag it over here, and I'm going to make it bigger. And I'm going to make it bigger so it encompasses where my virtual open house Sunday 1 to 3 would be. And then what you want to do is make sure that you layer it. So you want to send it backwards so the virtual open house is in front of it so the words can be seen. And excuse me, and to do that, you just go over to the right here. Where is it? Where is it?
You had it.
Okay.
It's like the second one in on the, go towards the end. Go back to the left. Over one more. Oh.
No, this was duplicate. Oh,
No,
arrange.
right there.
Sorry. Yeah, arrange. So then you can just send to the top, send backwards. So I'm going to send it backwards because I want my virtual open house to show. And then, you know, you just, again, move things over so it looks right, center it, move it over, change the colors. Because right now it's blue with a lighter blue around the around the edge. So you want to make sure that you, you know, you get it to match the rest of the design. To make it a little more opaque, like or a little less opaque, a little more transparent, I should say, like this circle here, again, you highlight the shape, not the text box, but the shape, and then you can change the opacity. So I'm going to change it from 100. I'm going to drag it back until it looks how I want it to look. Does that work for everybody? Okay, so then just sharing it to Facebook, again, very simple. Right next to the word done in the top right, you click share. And remember, in order to share to Facebook directly from here, you have to have your Facebook connected to command in the back end of your settings. So if you don't have that done right now, just watch and you know, do the best you can just to pay attention. And remember, if you do have your Facebook connected, then you can go ahead and share this design if you're ready to share it. I'm going to walk through to the very end. I'm not going to share this on my Facebook because obviously this design is a work in progress, but you'll see where you can stop if you don't want to share it all the way. So then I'm going to click Facebook. And it's going to give me the option to add a message. I am going to not add a message at this time. I'm going to click share. And it's asking me to log into Facebook, of course. Where am I? So it may or may not ask you to log in. I'm in incognito, so it's asking me to log in. And then here you can say something about the image. So join me for a virtual open house this Sunday, 1 to 3, right here on Facebook Live. Private showings available, call or text me, 203-253-2634. And then if you want to do, any hashtags, if you're comfortable with that, you can certainly do that. And then once you're ready, you can click on post to Facebook at the bottom and it'll go out to the world. I'm not going to do that just because, again, this design is a work in progress and nobody will understand. Can we put our personal and business pages in command for Facebook? So command only post to your business page. Okay, so it won't post to your personal page at all. You'll have to link your personal page in order to get to your business page because most business pages are set up through a personal page. But again, it will only post to your business page. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to unmute yourselves. Nothing? Everyone's good? Everyone's an
Thank you,
expert?
Jen.
No problem. Yeah, so feel free to play around with these, play around with the print ones as well. Don't forget to enter into the design contest. I believe today might be the last day to enter. I'm not sure. Refer back to Steve's emails. But I know that there's, I think, $100 prize. So why not? Might as well throw your hat in the ring, especially if you've created something really great. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us, to both Jackie and myself, if you guys have any questions. Best way to reach us is through our email, leverageout@gmail.com.
Jen,
Yes.
before you go, can you show us again how you added that black box on top?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna X out of this. I'll leave. Okay. So, okay, so now I want, because I know I have my verbiage down here for the private showing. I'm just gonna get rid of this star because obviously it's a waste of space. I know I have verbiage down here, so I want to make sure that I put a box behind it so people can see because it's white on white. So to get a shape, I'm gonna make sure that nothing is highlighted on my design. So I'm gonna just click on this blank space, blank gray space here. And then at the top, you'll see that you have drawing, shapes, frames, and text. I'm gonna click on shapes. And I'm gonna choose the shape that I want. Again, I'm gonna choose a bar because that's what I'm looking for, but maybe you want a circle or a square, if you're doing a specific design, maybe you want a heart. They have all sorts of different things. So I'm gonna just stick with the bar. I'm gonna click on that. And again, it drops right down into the middle of the design. I'm gonna drag it to approximately where I need it. And I'm gonna make it bigger. It's a little too big. I maybe want to make it a little thinner. And then I'm gonna rearrange the order, or I guess the layering of the design so I can see the white writing underneath it. So again, I am going to go to the top right where it says arrange. And I'm gonna choose, you can either send forward, send backward, send to the top, or send to the bottom, whatever you want. I'm gonna just send it backward. You may have to send it backward more than once because, as you can see, I have more than one design element here. So I'm gonna send it backward again, and then you can see that the writing comes up, and I just need to move the box down behind it and maybe resize it a little bit. And there you go. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions before we hop off today?
Thank you again.
No, Jen, thank you very
Of course,
much.
guys. Not a
Bye-bye.
problem. Good luck with the contest, guys.
Thanks, Jen. Bye.
Bye.